Or you're looking for those 9 bands with this brand new 9 tips, then trust me, this video is for you. All you're going to do is make sure you watch the video till the end. Hey everybody, Nakul from Skills IELTS. Really hope everybody is doing fantastic. I'm back with yet another power packed video on IELTS writing using these new 9 tips. How easy actually it becomes to get that 9 bands in IELTS writing. You're gonna unveil it in just a while. So before we get into the video, if not subscribed to this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button. And anytime you need online assistance, it's a paid assistance, you can WhatsApp us to the number appearing at the bottom of the screen. I'll be there, we will be there to help you guide in the right direction. Alright, without further delay, let's try to get into the video. Let me just share what I've got for you. 9 tips for 9 band IELTS writing. IELTS writing is always a nightmare for a lot of people because they don't understand what is required and how you guys are actually evaluated in the exam. The evaluation takes place with respect to 4 criteria, 4 components. The first is task response, second is coherence cohesion, third is vocabulary, and the fourth is grammar. These 4 are the criteria. Leaving out these 4, people try out every other thing. So today in this 9 tips from 9 band, I'll be focusing on these 4 evaluation criteria and give you some simple hacks using which if you just follow them, 9 band is or 8 band is actually guaranteed. Let's quickly start with the band number 1. Know that task response is the key. Task response, for whatever the task given, or you're giving a correct response. What is your name? Then tell your name. No, I will tell my father's name. I'll tell my guardian's name or friend's name, neighbor's name. This is the problem. So let's have a look at this question. These days many young children are suffering from the problem of obesity. Eating junk food and inactivity is the main reason. Do you think if government should be held responsible for this act? People start writing. There are many young people here prone to obesity because they eat a lot. Parents will ask them to do this, parents are responsible, blah blah blah. Arey yaar, the question is different, answer is different. Read the question. Do you think if government should be held responsible? Yes, I think government should be held responsible because it is the government at the end of the day who is allowing these obese foods, the junk foods into the market. Correct? The gaming activities, all those are allowed by the government. So as a result, people have become inactive. So government should be held responsible. This is the answer. Or you say, no, government, why government should be held responsible? Government cannot come in between all these things. Correct? There are certain items of food. Government has given the notice that these foods are prone to be obese. Now it's the personal choice. The young children or the parent or whoever it is should be responsible, not the other one. So in this way you need to write, but what people end up doing is they talk about the advantages of or disadvantages of being obese. They talk about something else which is not even asked in the question. The question doesn't ask you who is going to be responsible, who do you think should be held responsible. No, the question is the government responsible? You say yes, government responsible, and write the entire essay, second and third para. Or you say, no, the government is not responsible, and give the valid points. Don't have to say parent is responsible, teacher is responsible, education system is responsible, Russian PM is responsible. No, they are not asking you who is responsible. So like this, every question has its own challenges. That's the reason IELTS writing becomes very tricky. It's not like you teach one question, do it this way and just apply it for the rest of the questions. That is not going to work. 1-to-1 class, 3 classes for IELTS writing, please don't opt for it. In our course, we don't have it this way. We have unlimited feedback up to 1 month. Every day you will write, every day you get the feedback. By the time you finish the course, perhaps some 70-80 essays you would have written. So you would have understood what is required, the do's and don'ts. You become more mature, the right ideas, wrong ideas, and then you give exam. In the exam also same questions will not come. Some other question will come, but you would have been more matured enough to answer that new question in a proper way. Hope you are getting it. So task response is the key, and this differs from question to question. So try to read, understand what is asked, make some analysis before you start writing. Okay, coherence cohesion plays a prominent role. So what is this coherence cohesion? It's all about narration. Let's say there is a question. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages. People write in the second paragraph 10 advantages, firstly, secondly, thirdly. Firstly, the advantage of this is this. Secondly, one more advantage. All those things don't give marks. It is not basically what you write, it's basically how you write. There has to be a template. The template should cater to the needs of the evaluation criteria. Correct? First line you should leave out the teaser. Second line a trailer. Third line when you write example should be the movie. So slowly you leave out the things. The reader should be given some sort of curiosity. Correct? Firstly, you write the main idea. This is because you write the supporting idea or the reasoning in 1 or 2 sentences. Then you say, for example, wherein you go into the specifics. Example again 2-3 sentences of your own. Main idea, supporting idea, some 2 sentences. Example, some 2-3 sentences. Some 6-7 sentences is what I need for one paragraph, for one idea. That is Cence Question. People don't do that. Firstly, 1 sentence. Or if possible, 1 more sentence, and then secondly, they immediately move on. No marks will be allocated for all those things. This is the reality. These are the real tips. So pay more attention. Have a template. I've made many template videos. Have a look into all those things as well. But Cence Question is all about narration. You need to narrate with supporting idea and an example for every main idea that you write. Vocabulary is not the major focus area. In the YouTube, you may have come across. Not you may have, you definitely would have come across a lot of videos with the title, use these 10 words to get 10 bands, 9 bands. All those are done with an intention of getting more likes, more views and more subscriber count. Well, I don't think of any other reason, because all these are not a criteria. You want 8.5, 8, then probably yes. Most of the people would need 7. For that you focus on vocabulary, then you focus on task response, you focus on Cence Question, lot many things. It would be really ineffective, it would be not that impactful, isn't it? One of the other things you mess up. So focus on Cence Question and fluency, the task response, and that's more than enough. Don't have to worry too much about vocabulary. If possible, use a synonym. Otherwise, even if you retain the same word from the question, totally fine. Don't have to intentionally use some hi-fi words. Googling the things from the internet and trying to put it here, which is not at all making sense. All those, please don't do it. Vocabulary is all about using apt words. What word is right for this scenario, you need to use. It's not about using hi-fi words. Correct? Go in a very simple way possible. Don't have to focus more on the vocabulary unless you need 8.5 or 8. If you need 7.5 with normal English, normal vocabulary, simple basic vocabulary, you can even get till 7.5. We have done the experiment, we have the results with that itself. I am telling you that confidently. Alright, the tip number 4, always have a mixture of simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence. This is the grammar. This is where your grammar marks go up, correct? Don't write only a complex way, in a very complex way. People use which, where, as, though, a lot many and, entire essay will be 1 sentence. No, you need to have very simple sentence. Firstly, government should be held responsible for this act. Or firstly, there are many reasons why government should be held responsible. Or firstly, children are an innocent soul, full stop. This means getting it right. So you need to have that simple sentence, and wherein simple sentence actually brings that great ideas. If you have your main idea mixed in big sentence, it will not be seen. It will not be appealing, isn't it? Every idea you put it in simple sentence so that it conveys to the reader more effectively. Then supporting idea example, you have a mixture of compound and a complex sentence. Compound sentence is, you make using and, but, and complex sentence is what you make using subordinate conjunctions like as, though, although, even though, because, due to this, or where, which, and all those things. But have a mixture of these 3. Don't write only simple sentences, or don't write only compound complex sentences. You need to have a mixture of all these 3 for a better scores. Tip number 5, they are going to give you the topic and they say, discuss the advantages and disadvantages of the essay. Normal, advantage, disadvantage, pros, cons. It is not how many advantages you can write, it is whatever you have written, correct? Whatever the advantages you have written, how you have written that. It is always how you write those advantages, not, to my knowledge, as to how many advantages can you write. Can I write just one advantage? Yes. Nakul, advantages is asked. Doesn't matter. Advantages, one is also enough. For whatever the advantage you write supporting idea in 1 or 2 sentences. For example, in 2 or 3 sentences. 6, 7 sentences is one advantage. You want to write one more advantage, then again 6, 7 sentences. It will be 13, 14 sentences in one para, which is very time consuming. So, one advantage is enough. But prove how effective advantage it is. And the next para write one disadvantage, supporting an example and prove how effective the disadvantage is. It's all about narration. It's not at all about how many ideas, how many advantages you write. It's all about, even if you write one advantage, have you written it correctly? Have you conveyed your message correctly? These are the real things, guys, by the way. Let's move on to tip number 6. During advantage, outweigh disadvantage. You need to write effective advantage. Let's say you say advantages outweigh the disadvantage. This is 200 kg, this is 20 kg. This is going down in a weighing scale, isn't it? Advantage, the pros outweigh cons. You need to write the effective pros or effective advantages over ineffective disadvantages. Not that you write some 5 advantages and 1 disadvantage and say advantage outweigh disadvantage. No, it's the impact of an advantage. One advantage is enough, one disadvantage is enough. But write that one advantage which is so impactful, and write that one disadvantage which is like feeble, not so effective. Then in the one more para you prove the advantage outweigh disadvantage. It is not at all writing the number of advantages, more number of advantages over less number of disadvantages. Don't be in an assumption, all those don't give you scores. Real stuff. Okay, tip number 7, during agree or disagree essay, stick to one side. On the other hand, no need to write boss. It's agree or disagree. You want chocolate or ice cream? I want both. No, no, no. You have only one option. You agree, then second para also you should say why you agree. Third para also you should say why you agree. You don't have to say why you don't disagree or why you disagree. Not required. You only have to stick to one point. But look at the question. If there are multiple, like scenarios given, all the scenarios need to be discussed. The question whatever asked needs to be addressed, but agree disagree if it is asked. If you say agree, then second paragraph also agree, third paragraph don't talk about disagree, third paragraph also agree. Let's say you disagreed in the viewpoint, second paragraph disagree, third paragraph also disagree. No need to write both sides. If you write both sides you don't get marks, remember this please. Tip number 8, introduction and conclusion, keep it as short as possible. I've seen people writing introduction some 10 lines, conclusion some 11, 12 lines, not required, they are not scored. It's the body 1 and body 2, meaning yeah, para 2 and the para 3 are actually score boosters. It's not intro and conclusion. In the intro what is required, whatever the question asked, the viewpoint, have you mentioned? My view is that. In the conclusion, have you just summarized the second and third para in one line? Let's say the person doesn't have time to read the entire essay. Body 1, body 2, it doesn't have time to read. So, he should just read the conclusion and still understand what you just wrote above. That is the conclusion. Keep it as short as possible, intro and conclusion. No need to write a lot. Introduction probably 2 or 3 lines, conclusion 1 or 2 lines enough. Put all your this kidney into second and the third para. And the last step, discuss both sides and then give your opinion. These kind of questions, you need to have a 5 para structure. Para 1 will be introduction, you don't have to worry. Para 2 would be discuss both the sides. First side you discuss, second paragraph done. Third paragraph would be second side you discuss, 3 paragraphs done. Fourth paragraph is where you give your opinion in 4 or 5 sentences. Don't write in 1 sentence. 4 paragraphs done. The last paragraph is where you conclude the para 2, para 3, para 4. 5 para structure, again repeat, para 1 will be introduction, para 2 will be one side discussion, para 3 will be other side discussion, para 4 will be your opinion, para 5 conclusion. This way, if you follow these things, then definitely I promise you getting 9 or getting 8 or 7 or 7.5 is not that difficult. Alright guys, so fine with this, I'm going to park the video here. This is Nakul signing off from Skills IELTS. I really hope this video was fruitful, informative. If you really feel the same, do leave your appreciation with a thumbs up and leave your valuable comments in the comment section. With this, I'm going to bid bye soon. I'll be back till then. Take care. Bye-bye.